Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie to level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 168th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the Orchid Scribe of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age to Geekdom Network by Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, but still not Kick, because Kick, you suck. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. And that audience is here to listen to Danny J. Quick return from his vacation. What's up,
Yeah,
bro?
man. Everything Irie.
Oh, okay. Oh, you go to Jamaica for 1 week and all of a sudden you got an accent?
Yeah, that's all I got though. That's all I
Okay.
got. We went. They one of the tour guides. You know, she was explaining some of the popular lingo that you hear, and you know all of that good stuff. And they really, I'll be honest though, like most of the tour guides were telling us about how the island is getting taken over by foreign countries and how they live off of tips at this point.
Crap.
So tourism is a much needed thing there, but
Okay.
we did have a good time. We got to rest and celebrate a good friend of mine's 40th birthday. Shout out to Aaron Burns and the whole Burns family, man. It was a good trip.
Shout out Aaron. I hope you had a fun time with Danny. I had a great time with Javon as your co-host step in.
Y'all did great. Javon, I couldn't tell that it wasn't me. It was
I-
like watching the same show.
The fact that Javon was sick while doing the show, and he did a flawless job doing the show, I might add,
Yeah.
just tells you the type of person he is. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have Javon back again. Plus the fact that, he keeps that narrative of black guys wearing glasses.
Got to have the black guys wearing glasses, man. It's a thing now.
Is it really?
I feel like it.
Okay. All right. So we have some news. Do you want to talk about the news? Do you want me to talk about the news? How do you want to do this?
This is year 3, right?
Year 3.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are bringing the Beam Awards back for the 3rd consecutive year. Kyron and I have been extensively gathering data and intel, and we've had numerous conversations about bringing the Beam Awards back. And should we, and are we having a positive impact? And is it something that's worth doing? And the answers were all yes. So we are going to be bringing back the Beam Awards for the 3rd year this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, look out for more announcements about the Beam Awards in the coming weeks after CrockerCon, of course, because Kyron is going to be busy this week. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I will say thank you to everybody that's participated in the Beam Awards the last 2 years. We have seen you guys. That is a hard word. We have seen you guys posting your awards on your books and in your Kickstarters as nominations. So it does mean something to us when we see a Kickstarter say, I'm a Beam Award nominee, I'm a Glyph nominee, I'm a Ringo nominee, it says I'm a Beam Award winner. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. It does mean something to us that we are actually doing something. So we will be opening up for nominations in 2 weeks on Fortnite Friday, the 26th of September. And then we will leave those nominations open till November 1st. and then from there we'll get our judges to look over everything, just like we did last year.
Just like we did last year. Yep.
And if you are a sponsor that maybe wants to sponsor the Beam Awards for year 3 to help us get some awards mailed out, feel free to reach out to us at fourtailspodcast@gmail.com. I will gladly take your money, I mean your sponsorship, and help
And
produce.
I'm great with it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about before we bring your guest on?
Nah, man, let's go ahead and bring him on, man. I think this is
Nothing else. Nothing.
What am I missing?
I have no idea, honestly. I just wanted to mess with you because you've been gone for a week.
Now I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. I was gone last week, so my brain is still in Jamaica. Like literally, I told my boss today. I've been back to work a couple of days now, and I was like, it's Friday. My brain is literally on the beach right now. I don't know what to tell you.
I will say it was weird this past week not hearing from you every freaking day. Like I would check my DMs like, Danny didn't message me. Oh yeah, he's in Jamaica.
That's how you know I was having a good time, because I literally usually when I'm on vacation, I don't take my work stuff, but I still check in with my friends and stuff. So I must have been having a really good time. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and bring him in.
This is
no. You have 2 jobs on this show: quick takes and introduce the people.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest this week. Kyron's good friend, an artist, a writer mostly, an artist. He's done titles like Tiny Wizards, which I love the art on Tiny Wizards. B Squad, Eben 07, and much more. Also is going to be a featured guest at CrockerCon, right?
No.
Oh, maybe next year.
Those days are gone.
Guest at CrockerCon next year, maybe.
No.
Eben, no. Okay, Eben is joining us on the Four Tails podcast.
I want to say yes, but no.
Probably not.
Thank you for being on the show with us.
Absolutely.
All right,
Happy to do it.
For the few people that maybe aren't familiar with you, I know Danny gave a quick rundown, but did you want to give us like a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. I'm Eben Burgoon. I am. Whoa, gosh. We started making comics in 2007.
Ooh.
That's a long time.
And when you say we, like who else?
Yeah. So I started making comics with. I think he's a friend of the pod, right? Dan Bethel.
He is.
So Dan and I co-created Eben 07 Covert Custodian, which is about the janitors that cleaned up after James Bond in 2007, because we didn't think we could afford an animation team to make up our crazy idea, which was very accurate. And so we just started making comics back in like those early days of web comics and putting things on WordPress, Comic Press kind of stuff. And we did that for a really long time. And I think we kind of got it to a place where we called it finished. And then we kind of splintered off and started our own projects. So he's doing Long John now, and I started doing B Squad. And we're going to actually go vacation in Yosemite, I think, here in like a week. So we're still great pals.
Nice. I see I did not get the invite to the Yosemite, so screw both of you guys.
Well, it's not just me and him. We're going, I can.
No. It's too late now.
Yeah, I guess, okay.
I'm hurt inside, but it's all right. But no, we are glad to have you on. And honestly, this is the first time you and I have really been able to just talk. Mm-hmm. Like usually it's when we talk, it's about something productive, something CrockerCon related. This is the first time you and I have actually talked, so I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your work. Like you mentioned, you've done Eben 07, you've done B Squad, which I love B Squad. You've done Tiny Wizards. What is it?
Looks so good, man.
Thank you.
Bravo on time. I mean, all of the work looks great, but just something about the art on Tiny Wizards just is amazing.
That's Dean Beattie. Dean is an artist based in the UK. And what was really magical about working with Dean, like he drew this this little. He's a great artist, and he hand painted every page of that book. And when I was like looking around to see who I would love to, like, what was my dream person to do Tiny Wizards, Dean was at the top of the list. I was following him on Instagram. You know, not very often poster, long time lurker kind of guy. And he posted this like drawing that was of Captain Haddock from Tintin, like back to back with a knife, with the captain from Jaws, Quint. And it was just like, I loved that so much, and that's what like led me to start following him. And like, you know, we started messaging, and I just said like, hey, you know, I got this book that's in production. Would you want to do it? And he jumped at it, and he was just so great to work with, and I'm hoping that we still get to collaborate in the future. But I know he's like really he's starting to draw more again and get back into it. So remains to be a conversation with him. And like during COVID, we like palled together and like did trivia over Zoom. And I flew over to Thought Bubble, which is a really wonderful convention. Probably one of my favorite conventions I've ever done in the UK.
It's like the YouTube Thought Bubble folks?
No, the Thought Bubble is I don't think it's the same. But Thought Bubble is a convention that's outside of, I think, Leeds. It's in a small town called Harrogate, which is like a spa town in northern England. And man, it's so fun. Like they just bring people. It's a very, very comics focused convention. Like if you ever had the chance to do like the Alternative Press Expo here in California before it kind of went the way of the dodo. It's just like so laser focused on comics. Like they only bring comic guests. They don't bring any like voice actors. Like there's no celebrities. The celebrities are the comic people. Like they really, really laser focus on like
that's rare.
It is very rare, and it makes it just like extra wonderful because you know the people that are showing up. Like I love good costumes and cosplay, but like that show, it's like one of those ones where like it's kind of more rare that you see somebody dressed up because like people are there to read books and buy books. And it was just such a, I don't know, that was a great show. Like I got to give my books to like the British Library and like met a whole bunch of friends that I had only seen from afar. And it was just like the first con I did out of COVID, and it was a little scary, but we did it and it was great. And it was expensive.
yeah.
I didn't think a suitcase full of books was gonna, you know, I sold almost every book I brought, but like I didn't think a suitcase of the books was gonna, you know, solve all my financial worries for sure.
Oh yeah, those trips out of the state, they get expensive really quickly.
Yeah.
You know, just saying, don't go to North Carolina expecting.
It felt like a good working vacation. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, dude, I thought you had a good time, Kyron, when you came out here to the.
Yeah, that looked great.
No, I had a great.
Wasn't that the first time you guys met in person too?
Yes, it was.
And that was the same thing for me and Dean. Like we had really only sent emails and like seen each other on Zoom and hung out. Like it was just, it was a real dream come true thing. Like there's another artist, Dave Stokes, who he's on the same kind of like weekly chat. I got to meet him. I got to get to know. I had to meet Dean's kids. You know, like it was just really, it was a really magical thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and his wife too.
Oh yeah, can't forget the wife. Come on,
can't forget the wife. Yeah. So
yeah. Back to the comics. I think that like comics is just. I always have this thought, and I feel like I'm having it more as I'm getting older, that comics is like really the place where people can make things that, you know, make sense to them, like things that might not appeal to, you know, the masses, but things that just little quirky ideas in your mind that you can literally create with a team of people. And some of your titles, like like, and I mean this.
Wait.
That's cool. I get it a lot.
I mean this in the best way possible.
No, because I've said this to Evan. His titles match him. Like they are one and the same. It's not.
and I mean it. I truly mean this as a compliment, man. Like
I take it as a compliment, truly.
like literally this Tiny Wizards book, like the B Squad. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, who would have thought to make this a story? Like you got the Sean Connery on the like what is your process for like choosing? Because I get a lot of ideas. I know Kyron gets a lot of ideas, but
Yeah.
we don't, we choose things. I know for me, I'll choose things that I think I can, that have a large market appeal, superheroes, things like that, horror stuff like that. And a lot of times, like I have a idea called the Dragon Fairy that I want to make so bad, but
You should.
I know nobody's gonna buy it. I know I'm not gonna be able
Well,
to sell it.
I think that's a larger thing. I think a lot of times comics specifically are so grounded in sort of this is going to sound like an anti-capitalist rant. I can already
Sorry,
tell.
go ahead.
Here I go.
Have
Comic books are labeled as an industry, right? The idea that you're going to have to make money, that you're going to have to do all these things, and yet, like by and large, most people who are making comics today, they've got a day job. If you're not pursuing your passion and the things
I
that
have a
you
day
will
job.
personally, yeah, I do too.
Kyron, huh?
I have a day job. It's just making comics.
And that's good.
I don't make a
think,
lot of money on that day job, but I have a job.
I for a long time didn't have a day job and was just doing comics. But I will say, the majority experience, even for a lot of established and even really like very notable comic book creators, they have another thing that's giving them the safety of a day job. And so I think when you're art specifically like is not something that culturally like is ascribed a lot of value. We consume it, we love it, like, so we kind of think about, I've got to create something that's marketable, I've got to create something that's gonna sell. That's an extreme pressure that you're putting on the art and your own creative ambition, right? Like if you can separate the economics from what you really want to do, and do it well and do it deep, like I think it's going to pay off so much longer, because comic books, you just look around, the guys that are in their 70s 80s plus, they were doing what they wanted to do, and they kept growing their audience slowly and slow build, and they told the stories they wanted to tell, and those are the ones that turn into the legends that we love. So
Great.
I would say if you're kind of like in your like mid-career right now, this is the time to try to coach your audience toward what you really want to do. And they will not be like, oh, he sold out. The sellout is like the other thing, right? We know who the sellouts are. They sell the corporate thing, and they're telling the stories they want to tell, but they're doing it through the lens of some IP
Batman.
they don't control,
Yeah, they're telling a story through Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Speaking of audiences, Brad Arney said, Danny, whatever you make, he'll buy one.
There you go.
Thanks,
Brad. That's exactly what Evan's talking about. It's finding that audience. And
absolutely, man. I love it. And I'm going to do Dragon Fairy someday, because I think it could be a great
should.
story. Because, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think there's a balance to it. Of course, like Scott Snyder is, as an example, Scott Snyder makes some great. He tells some great stories. They're not all super mainstream stories, but if he can use Batman to tell like this, the absolute Batman was really
Beautiful.
good to me. Like it's really good to me, and it's a story with a message, And but then there was also Canary, which was really different. That he did, and I think there's a place for all of it, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think in that same breath, like I'm not trying to say the like quote unquote sellout thing is necessarily a bad route to take. It's just like comics specifically too are also just full of all these different journeys.
Yeah.
And your journey is your journey. Like the way that you get to where you want to be is going to be yours ultimately. Somebody's going to ask you like, what was your secret to getting to be Danny J. Quick? Well, The secret is I'm dating Jay Quick, not me, but
Right.
and
I
that's
still haven't
that's
figured out
great
quite what that means yet, but yeah.
because you're still on the journey. You're still on the journey. Like we're all gonna be. It's happening in real time. Like it's every single podcast, every single book, every time you make Dragon Fairies or don't. Like that's all part of the journey, and you'll one day you will, and it will be great. It will be better for it.
Well, let's talk about your journey. You said you
Oh,
started off
okay.
as. I mean, this is an interview about you, not us.
Oh, sorry.
But no, but we okay. This is an interview for you to talk and talk about your works. But this is
Yeah,
also an interview because most of our audience are also comic creators themselves,
yeah,
honestly. So any tips are always appreciated. But your journey, you've had your ups and your downs, like
sure,
I'm sure
yeah.
any comic creator has. What are some things maybe that you would have done differently, knowing what you know
Oh
now?
wow. Um, I don't have a lot of regrets about the journey. I think some of the things that I think I would have loved to have done differently or earlier. I'll give a good example. So, like, B Squad was a really, really wonderful project. It still is. It's still something I am considering resurrecting.
I
Um,
enjoy it thoroughly every time I read
thank,
it. So
thank you.
I'll put it out there. If you haven't read B Squad, and just a brief recap, B Squad is Evan's book about a mercenary team where every issue one character dies, but Evan picks a character that dies by rolling a dice. Or no, it's
Yeah,
a dreidel, right?
it's kind of it's dreidel-esque. It's what they call a teetotum, and it's
Okay.
a whalebone top that you spin that's six-sided. And so there's six members of the squad, and they all are corresponded with a number. When I start the story, I roll it, and none of this is really in the book. It's not like it's a mechanic that's visibly in the book. This is all
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say I don't remember seeing that.
well, yeah. Okay, so I guess maybe to like unpack process. Like the reason I made this story was, or this one after this is I love making characters, and so when you're kind of talking about like, how do you pick an idea? B Squad was really born out of I don't want to write an Indiana Lebowski series. I just want to use that character. I want to have that character like to use, and I wanted a lot of characters. I always am thinking up like, oh, it would be fun to do this, and it would be fun to do that. So B Squad, by making this sort of like expendable engine in it,
Mhm.
it allowed me to kind of like, rather than focus on one individual character, make a collective narrative that I'm telling. And there's this how it's like a philosophical dilemma called Theseus's ship. And
Mm.
the concept is like when Theseus left from Greece, he goes on his voyage, and throughout the voyage, different parts of the ship are a serpent bites the side of the ship. Well, they need to patch that up, and then a storm ruins the mast, and then they need to fix the masts and the sails. By the time he gets back to port,
It's a whole new
every
ship.
single part is
Mhm.
different. Is it the same ship that left? It's still Theseus's ship. So is it a matter of possession, or is it a matter of the physical components?
Mhm.
So the heart of B Squad is playing with that philosophical dilemma, allowing me to basically, as I chew through these characters, like, is B Squad going to be the same, or is it going to be different? And are you going to enjoy, the same? Because that's the thing about things like the Avengers or a Suicide Squad, for that matter, which I think my book's more funny and more better than Suicide Squad, but neither here nor there. But it's also more random and weird, and it lets me explore lots of different ideas that I have. Because I just give the mission to the squad. So if I have an idea for a comic book, I can give it to the squad to play with, and then the other side of that too was kind of addressing some of the inequities in the medium and in the industry, which the goal of B Squad was always to try to platform artists that were emerging talents or hadn't had the opportunity to illustrate a full series or illustrate, excuse me, a full issue of comics, because when you go to a convention and you want to meet an editor, the first thing they ask is, let me see your sequentials. They don't care
Mhm.
about your fan art. They want to see if you can tell a story in pictures. And for a lot of the people in Sacramento that I knew, that were illustrators, they didn't have somebody who was writing and could give them something to sequentially make and pay them to make that. So the goal was I would pay them usually a small stipend, but it would help them make the first 5 issues or first 5 pages so that I could share that with Kickstarter. And then Kickstarter would hopefully fund the gap. And the few times that I went to Kickstarter, that succeeded. And then they were also concurrently working. So each artist team had the script at the same time and were working on the book at the same time, which allowed me to effectively put out a trade at the same rate it would have taken me to put out a single issue. And you know, a lot of the people that worked on B Squad, in terms of what I would have changed differently, like one of the most beautiful things about B Squad was when we would be able to go to conventions and all these artists were kind of at the same thing, like they were at Stockton Con or SatCon or whatever convention. It was very easy to sell a comic.
Stockton Con and SatCon, Danny, are conventions in different cities in California. Just want
I drew the
even when we did Dragon Con, or you know, there was a lot of conventions that we did where there was somebody there, and I could sell a copy of B Squad and say, "Oh, you want to go to table this, and table this if you want to get them to sketch in it too." What I had wish I had done differently was instead give those artists those books, which it was in their contract that they could buy them at print cost and sell them if they wanted to. But a lot of the artists didn't want to sell a book that contained 4 other artists and get into that confusing thing like, no, this is mine and that one's theirs kind of thing. At least that's my perception of it. Some people were totally cool with it and did it, but we never made the single issues, and that never really gave them their like full time in the sun, if you will, the full spotlight. So I think I would do that differently. But
I think that's a good observation, though. I think one of the things I talk to artists about a lot is, you know, being able to have more things on their table. Like I do a lot of variant covers for Ace Blade, and you know, just one of the selling points is I might not be able to pay you the best price, but I can get you some comics on your table. And you know, Ace Blade is not Batman, but people are starting to know who Ace Blade is. So it's you know, it's good to have a comic book on the table. If you got a lot of prints, cool, you know, that's great. But even though you didn't do the internal art, it's good to have a comic book on the table, and people love variant covers. So I think that's a great observation.
I mean, the deep irony is that with B Squad, for folks that are not like super into comics, buy the book, they assume I did all the art because I'm the one selling it. And it's always a really tricky, like, I mean, it's not tricky for me, but it's tricky for their understanding. Like, oh, wait, there's a writer and there's a letterer and there's all these other jobs. Like, what are you talking about? I thought you're selling this. You made this.
You did this, yeah.
It is surprising how many people forget that there's different teams that do all this to make a book. It is funny.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. And but I always really loved being able to, you know, kind of have that little piece of education, letting people, you know, and I mean, B Squad too, I think the other thing that if I had to do it over again that I'd do differently, you know, I got this, it was a prison of my own making, or I guess maybe not a prison, that's a little harsh, but it got the attention of an animation company, and they were at the time starting a comic book line, and they were interested in basically using it to, you know, try to pitch television shows and get it developed. And they wanted to kind of put the book into hiatus because they were going to like relaunch it and republish it. There's some other things that happened in my life at the time that kind of made that really, really tricky. And so I wish that what I had done differently there is, I think, just not, it was mine. It was always mine. I didn't have to put it on hiatus, but by putting it into hiatus and kind of like accepting that, I really lost a lot of momentum. Like, you know, that we had volume 3 characters and artwork already developed by Sean Sutter, who was like kind of the lead artist on B Squad. He would usually help me come up with, like, you know, I'd come up with these characters. Sean and I would sit down and we'd kind of talk about what they should look like, what kind of their powers are, and he'd kind of make this like character asset lineup of each character. So that way, like much like an animated show, the characters, even though they're being illustrated by a different person, they still could be on model in their own style. So we never tried to make any artist be like, well, you have to conform Sullivan Caliber to Sean's Sullivan Caliber. It's like, no, like as long as he's wearing his Expos hat and kind of looks like Sullivan Caliber, have at it. We're hiring you as an artist to show off what you can do. So do your best and do it in your style. Don't try to cop to somebody else. And that works so well. Like a book reads like an anthology. It's so fun. I think I still am very proud of it. But yeah, it lost its momentum. Like if I go back to the drawing board for B Squad, I'm like in this space in head where I'm like, do I just go for volume 3 or do I need to go back and really like redo or do like a reboot or B Squad re-rolled? I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Because if they had developed it into a show, that was always like an idea, was that like the show episodes would have different die rolls than the comic book, so therefore it would tell a completely different like multiversal story.
That would have been tough though as a TV show to have a constant changing of actors and actresses coming through. Like I wouldn't want to.
That was the thing that I thought was really, really marvelous about the show pitch that we had going, was that and it would have, they really wanted it to go to Netflix because they were starting to do those interactive features. And so essentially like the die roll that would happen would have been like any outcome could have happened. So
sort of like a pick your own adventure book type thing.
It would have been an animated show. And that's the thing too, is like if we had kept it, it was an animation company, so we could have kept it animated and just had the voice actors come up with a different voice and a different character for the characters that were killed off. We never really wanted it to be a live action series. I did pitch a live action version where it would be the B Squad would have been puppets, and then everything else would have been people. So only the puppets would have died.
You can't be killing puppets, man.
I know that's hard.
You can't be killing.
That would
have been amazing.
Muppets, no killing Muppets.
Oh,
killing
yeah.
puppets. I could think of some puppets. I'm fine with losing.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you on that. Oh man.
All right. Well, we brought this up a couple times during the show. You are the founder of CrockerCon.
Yeah.
Don't sound so enthusiastic about that.
I am. I think it's just so close around the corner that it's like the work of it is. Whew.
It is a lot of work. What can you tell us about CrockerCon that you're maybe excited about?
Oh wow! Well, this year's CrockerCon. So for I don't know how much you guys are talking about it on the show, but CrockerCon is essentially a comic book convention that is happening at a nationally accredited art museum here in Sacramento. So it really allows for a kind of a bridge to get created. So for pop culture, comic book enthusiasts, they are going to hopefully feel more welcome to come to an art museum, and vice versa. People who love to go to art museums get exposed to the art and passion and the process of making comic books, and hopefully helping to legitimize, which I, because of this whole other thing, learned recently that like it's now up to like 67% of in America that people view comics as art and literature. So like we've made huge strides in helping to legitimize comics as a true art form in the public's opinion. And so I think at the same time, though, I think those two things sometimes don't always mix in a way that allows for like, again, like that comics focused kind of convention. So that was like really my hope when I was like literally in an elevator with decision makers at the museum in 2013, and I told them like, oh, we could do a comic book convention, and that would be so cool if we did it here. And they were like, no, we don't do that kind of thing. And it was only like much later through some kind of like strokes of fate and being kind of the squeaky wheel that I am, and kind of just offering them up other opportunities to explore comics over that year, and they said yes eventually. And that first one was such a huge hit for them that they then were like, well, let's do it bigger next year. And then it was always like, let's do it a little bit bigger. Let's do it a little bit bigger. And I would say last year when we brought Kyron on to help organize and create it, we really got to the place where I felt like I'd achieved my vision for the show. And now this year we're going even bigger, and we're making it a whole day weekend on September 21st. We're bringing guests from up and down California. We have a creator, Mike Norton, who did Battle Pug. He's currently working on that crypto book, The Last Dog of Krypton, with Ryan North. He's done like things like Blue Beetle, Hellboy comics. He's done a lot of things. We're bringing him out from Chicago as kind of like our big guest. And there's a lot of things I'm really excited about with CrockerCon this year. I don't know if we have time in the podcast to go through all of it, but I would
Probably not.
Yeah, it's so good. This year is like really great, and I think it's a testament to like the legacy. And like the museum is, I do work at that museum, and I think the large reason is because CrockerCon's been such a big success for the museum that I work there. And that's been the hardest thing, I would say, is kind of like transitioning to being a museum education program coordinator full time, and then balancing sort of my cartooning comic book career also. Mm-hmm. And then when CrockerCon and that meet, it's like I can't. That's why I'm like, no, I can't. About being part of the show, I can't table. I can't, sell Tiny Wizards there. Platform myself, and that part is challenging.
I definitely understand that. Yeah. If I was going to tell Kyron if I was trying to get there this year. But that Jamaica trip definitely.
Hey, next year. There's always next year.
But I am 100% going to be down there. Be over there next year for CrockerCon. Yeah. I've heard great things, and I'm gonna make it happen no matter what. Kyron came to this coast this year. Next year I'm going over there.
Sacramento is a good city. I really love Sacramento,
except for those Kings. But everything else I hear is fine. I was gonna ask.
Damn, sucks. Danny just dropped off. Wow, just no idea what happened to Danny.
No.
All right, I'll bring him back.
Probably won't say what I think of the Kings.
You see what happens when you. See what happens
when you tell the truth?
When you give certain people power. You see what happens.
With great power comes great responsibility, and I have the responsibility to shut you up.
No, but
But I do love when you guys post on Instagram and like the light the beam thing. That's great.
Light the beam, yeah.
Light the beam.
No, I was gonna ask you though, because I think that the initial hesitation from the museum is like I can understand, like a convention crowd and a museum crowd are two different. Like you don't even think. I wouldn't want these people coming into my, you know what I'm saying? Like
that is at the crux of, I think, a social change around museums. Also, like museums are, I think, rapidly, especially art museums, are starting to rapidly recognize that, like, the way that they're kind of built, the way that they kind of do things, they recognize like the public perception is there's these ivory towers of they're I mean in a lot of ways too, it's like this is where rich white people put their money and their time, and it's not for everybody. And I think by and large that couldn't be further from the truth, at least for our museum for sure. We really have I'm really proud of like the work I've done as of late. Like we just had the festival I just did was called Descubra, and our education team came together, and we brought like 30 lowriders parked out front. We had an all-female mariachi group welcoming people to the museum. We had indigenous dance performances. We had luchadors wrestling in a courtyard outdoors. I mean, it was such a fantastic, wonderful day of platforming, Latin art and Latin culture.
You know, Kyron is
Yeah.
an honorary luchador.
I did not know that.
I found out recently. What was your luchador name, Kyron?
El Negro Loco.
I did learn that recently.
Oh,
We'll
but
have to get him in the ring next time.
absolutely. I would pay good money to see.
Yeah. Maybe
So
we'll do that.
there
for
is
next-
video of me
next year's
wrestling.
CrockerCon, yeah.
There is a video of me wrestling out there somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it because our matches were recorded. So somebody has a VHS of it somewhere. I just can't find it.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Before we do quick takes, I was gonna say, I think the thing that you brought up earlier about the education, like people needing to know, or people not knowing that teams make these comic books. You know,
Yeah.
I think that there is some overlap in the education and literature space for comic books. And I went to the Smithsonian, the African American Smithsonian in DC, and they were doing a Black comics presentation, and I think that what they did there was very well done. Like, they showed the history of Black comics, and they showed Milestone, they showed Mr. Terrific, all of that good stuff.
Awesome.
And I was like, this is really good. Like, and it's not necessarily the rowdiest people coming to see it. Like, my mom went, and she enjoyed it. But I think that there's a balance, and I can't wait to see how this year's CrockerCon goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been incredibly lucky in being an independent comic book producer with no publisher, to be able to travel the world and bring comic books to places like the United Arab Emirates or to Egypt, and be able to give presentations and talks about how comic books as a medium truly are art and literature, but they're also a place where you can really unleash your own imagination and your own creativity, and do it in a way that maybe your other big dreams, it can be that stepping stone towards those things, but at least it gets it out of your head and onto paper. And that's, I think, one of the hard, like, if you're not writing the script for, was it Dragon Fairy? If you're not writing that script and you're not getting that idea out of your head and onto paper, I hope you are, because like that's even a real rough version. Like, just getting it out of your head is sometimes the greatest challenge. And I think right now too, we particularly don't look at art as a way of better critical thinking skills. Like, there's nothing like a blank piece of paper that presents an obstacle that needs to be met with critical thinking, and like, how am I going to do this? And comics, because they have to do that sequential art, you have to pick the pictures that are going to be the moments that are going to tell your story, and you're going to have to break that down in a way that's like one of my favorite challenges, I think I put you through this, Kyron, is draw a blinking light in one panel. And it makes people really go like, oh, a blinking light with one picture, like, how am I going to do that? And it's a really interesting thing, because I think for me, it really, like, there's not a right or wrong answer necessarily, but to like really achieve it, it's usually going to take more than just drawing a light bulb. You might have to marry that with some words like blink blink, or some emanata, like some emanating lines coming from the bulb. So you kind of get, in one panel, you get all of these kind of like comic book storytelling techniques, by putting that in front of third graders to see how they want to try to draw a single blinking light is like so fun. Anyway, I've been really lucky with doing comic book workshops. Like, that's been a huge part of my career that I often don't talk about enough. Probably.
Nice.
That's great. That's great. All right, Kyron. I know I took over the interview a little bit, but do you got anything else before we do quick takes?
No, I'm good. I'm good. That's good.
Okay. Kyron is a strickler for this timeline that we have. If we get too close to 8:45 and we haven't done quick takes, Kyron is his anxiety is killing him on the inside. I can tell.
Yes.
All right.
Quick takes.
All right. Kyron, I'm ready when you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we get to finally light the beam.
Light the beam!
Quick takes.
All right. So, if you haven't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. We're gonna ask you 5 questions. You got 45 seconds each to answer them. And this is just something for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. Okay. So, question number 1. I am a Wordle fan, and I hear that you're a spelling bee fan, but I know most people who do the spelling bee also do the Wordle. So
I do.
Which one, Wordle or spelling bee, and why?
Well, spelling bee doesn't track like your streaks or anything like that, and I love a good Wordle streak. So I definitely do Wordle all the time. My first word is haste. I've gotten it one time, but that usually gives me like that. I'm either a 2 or a 3. My 4s and 6s are not right, or my 5s and 6s are not very common.
Really?
Yeah. The haste is a good starter.
Okay.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about right now.
Spelling bee is awesome though. I love spelling bee.
Spelling bee is a lot. I have trouble with spelling bee, but I'm the best in my house, at least with Wordle.
That new Domino one is fun.
Domino, I haven't tried that yet. I haven't tried it yet. I love connections, but I'm not good at it.
Same.
So yeah.
Same.
Okay. Question number 2. I want to right up the street. We got this city park, and we have this little library in it.
Cool.
And I saw that you posted about filling up a little library. So I want you to tell us in 45 seconds about the magic of little libraries.
Oh yeah. I've got an old newspaper box, and I hand painted it with like comic book kind of things, and it's a comic book little library. So, and it's very popular. I have to like reload that thing a lot. But basically, you basically just register with this little company in Minneapolis, and they'll put you on a map, and people can kind of discover it. And the exciting thing is that got on the radar of this book fairy. She drives around with old library books, and now that she knows that there's a comic book focused one, she drops off comic books into that thing like every other week. She's fantastic. Her name's Pat. She's a magic human being that goes and fills up little libraries all around Sacramento.
I love it. I love it. See,
45, right on the dot.
Right on the dot. That was good.
I was born for this. This is great.
Okay. Question number 3. Now, we usually have people on one side or the other of this question. I'm a dog lover.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm a dog lover. I've never had a cat in my house. I refuse. Cats, are a different thing. Kyron has become kind of both a cat and a dog person.
The cat lord.
And I believe you have cats and dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
living together.
For a person like me who can't imagine having a cat in their house, what are some of the good things about having cats and dogs?
Oh wow! The number one thing is when you get what I call the cuddle puddle. If you can get a cat that kind of loves dogs, which usually are like tuxedo cats, are like incredibly good at this. We had a tuxedo cat that was a magical glue cat, and it would sleep with the dachshunds, and it would be just this little ball of dogs and cats sleeping together. That's amazing. We fortunately, all of our wiener dogs are elderly, and so they could care less about the cats, and the cats generally avoid each other. And I love cats. They're very you get a good indoor cat, like they're just fun to kind of be weird and fun.
Yeah,
I don't know if I sold it, but the cuddle puddle is amazing.
I don't know. I might have to. My aunt had a cat, and that thing was the meanest thing I'd ever seen.
Get a tuxedo cat. Tuxedo cats, like the ones that are like that look like they're wearing like a little tuxedo. They usually are like way more friendly and way more social.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4, and we've talked about CrockerCon a little bit on the show already, but I want to. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I want to know. What are the best things, if you can, in 45 seconds? What's one of the best things about CrockerCon, and what, honestly, in your opinion, is one of the worst things, or one of the things that you would like to see improve about CrockerCon?
Okay, the best thing I think right now is that like the museum believes in it. The museum believes in it in a way where they're committing a lot of resources that the museum gets. We're able to, in some cases, fly these guests out, pay for them to come out. There have been CrockerCons where that has not been the case. So I think now that the museum really loves it and believes in it, I think that's really magical. And I'm really hoping that we can kind of build on the success of this year to kind of make a Sacramento comic book week. The worst thing I would say is the other side of that is it's only inside of the museum, so we can't make it very big.
Okay, I like that. The last guy in the last 2 seconds. I like that.
There are definitely other things I could say there too, but I want to respect the 45.
That's right. That's right. Gotta stick to the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So question number 5. We always have our guests do a top 5 list off the top of their head. To celebrate our other show, Top 5 Live, that we do on Tuesdays.
No. It is not we.
It's our show, Kyron.
I haven't been on that show in like a year.
If I'm on the show, then you're on the show. It's our show. So for you, Eben, I want to know, what are your top 5 James Bond movies?
Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna put Goldfinger as number 1. Probably From Russia with Love is number 2. 3 would probably be Casino Royale.
Okay.
4, Thunderball. 5, it's the Timothy Dalton one where they oh no, I need to get a GoldenEye in there. Well, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Oh
good.
Man.
Yeah, GoldenEye is way too good. I'll bump Timothy Dalton. Sorry, Timothy Dalton.
Hey, that's a solid list right there. That's a solid list. Okay, all right.
Sean Connery is definitely my Bond.
Sean Connery is the guy. Is that guy?
Yeah.
For sure.
One of my favorite Eben 07 ideas that we never got to do. I still want to do it, and at risk of somebody stealing this idea, who cares? I would love to see it exist. I really wanted to do an Eben 07 story because again, he cleans up after James Bond, but where the current James Bond, whatever James Bond it is getting hunted by the former James Bond, who's tired, and so Sean, at that time it was going to be Sean Connery, but then Sean Connery died, and I was like, well, maybe we do a Pierce Brosnan hunting whatever the new Bond is. I thought would be like a really fun one, and so the janitor is kind of having to ride the the battle of like, I don't really know whose side, and they're both making messes. So it's like you said, having to like separate the children from like ruining everything. Caught in the middle of the two things. So it was, and then it would hopefully like set Ninja Dan and Eben 07 kind of at odds with each other, because they were gonna.
That would be a great.
It would be a great movie. Yeah, it would be a great movie. I think the closest we got was probably GoldenEye, because at least it was like 006 versus 007. But I think we were going to call it Revenge of the Number, which I also think is a great title. And because like there's so many, there's so many James Bond movies where the Bond gets like kind of let go by MI6 for some reason, but this one's like, okay, well, fuck you too then, and goes and tries to get revenge.
Hey, I like it. I say you should
Yeah.
write it.
I know I should.
Well,
That's
thank you.
That's I should take my own advice.
There you go.
If you do Dragon Fairy, I'll do Revenge of the Member.
I've already hired Kyron to draw Dragon
perfect.
Fairy during this show, so I'm gonna make it happen. Thanks for doing that. This week, Quick Takes has been brought to you by the Gemini Comic Supply. So if you go to Gemini Comic Supply and use the promo code AceBlade, you get 10% off your entire order. Back to you, Kyron. See,
right.
we're too close to what time is it? 8:55.
Yeah, you're tired. That's what it is. You're ready for bed. That's all it is. Eben, we appreciate you being on, talking about your career. I mean, I knew coming in there was no way we could have gotten through everything just because you're a talker. So I know there was no way we could have got through everything. So we might have to bring you back another day in the future if you're willing to.
100%.
We do want to make sure, though, that our followers and our listeners keep up with you and your work. So where's the best place online to do that?
Well, my name is my website, so ebenburgoon.com. I have a mailing list there that I post to fairly infrequently. And then I post to Instagram, probably is the only place I post. I sometimes post on TikTok, but ebenburgoon.com is probably, if you want to find where I do things and what I do, that's where to go. 100%.
Okay. Danny, where can people check your work out?
That's a good question. I guess the best place to find me is fourthwallpros.com, where you can get all of our comics. And if you want to find me on social media, is at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms, or my new page, Kevon Comics.
Nice.
Are you serious? Did you make that?
I changed. I had a backup page on TikTok, and I changed it to Kevon Comics because everybody says I look like Kev on stage. So,
okay.
Kyron, where can people find you?
You can check me out at tauruscomics.com. I am at Taurus Comics at all social media platforms. So if you want to, please go check that out. You really did change it to Kevon Comics. Oh my God. All right. And this is your first time checking out our podcast. You can go to our website, fourtailspodcast.com. You can listen to our previous episodes. You can buy some merchandise. You can catch up on the Beam Awards, which is coming soon. But that is the number 4, TALESpodcast.com. Join us next week, though, where we will have Gene Willoughby on the show talking about sunstorms. I'm lost at this Kevon Comics thing. But yeah, join us next week. Gene Willoughby on the show. Until then, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.